somebody is selling a commodity or an item. I am interested to buy that item, and maybe the price that he puts out is, let's say, 100 Ghana cedis. But I said, look, I can offer you 80 Ghana cedis for this item. And the seller agrees to sell to me that item at 80 Ghana cedis. At that point, a contract has been established. A contract has been formed between me, who is a buyer, and then the seller. And once this transaction is regulated by a contract, then there are some legal underpinnings to the transactional relationship between the buyer and the seller. And so it is important for us to address the fact that the consumer has rights. Because at the point that the contract is formed between the seller and the buyer, and the contract is formed, then it creates some rights, it creates some duties, it creates some obligations for the parties. So once there is a contract of sale between a seller and a buyer, it creates some legal relationships. And based on this legal relationship, there are rights, there are obligations, there are duties, there are responsibilities of each party to ensure that the transactions or the contract that have been formed between the parties are enforced. And in fact, in contracts, there are also, by law, capacity to buy and sell. So nobody, you cannot just sell anything at any age, or if you don't have the capacity. So capacity gives you that legal power to be able to engage in some in transactions. And in Ghana, such legal transactions are regulated by law. From my experience of the law in Ghana, I believe that there are quite the bodies of laws in Ghana. There are a lot of laws that really has to do with rights of the citizen, and by extension, the rights of the consumer. There are a number of laws in Ghana. We can have the constitution. There are enactment of parliament. There are rules and others and regulations. There are the common law and the existing law. So all this hierarchy of laws and all these laws that are in existence, though they may be scattered, but there are a lot of laws in existence that we have not even tested the law at all. We have not really stretched the law to the extent that the rights that are, as I said, rights are owed, okay, or applied to individuals or groups. But I believe that there are a lot of laws, or quite abundant body of laws, that when one has an issue, one can really seek redress in the law court. For instance, in the torts law, a tort is an act or omission that gives rise to an injury of harm to another, and it amounts to a civil wrong for which the court imposes a liability. Okay, so the primary aims of civil laws or tort laws is to provide relief to the injured parties. So if you went to buy a product and you were injured by the product because the product was not safe, or maybe you want to buy a drink and you saw some impurities or some impurities that are settled at the bottom of the bottle, you feel injured, and that by your injury and the law of torts, you can seek relief or redress from the law courts. And I believe that if you are injured as a consumer and you speak to your lawyer, you will definitely get some relief from the courts. I endorse the fact that we need to have a kind of laws that are put together to address specific issues of the consumer.